The Derek Chauvin trial resumes this morning after 4 days of very emotional testimony. The trial comes at the same time that many states are trying to restrict voting rights, and some civil rights activists see a connection. Joining us now is Bernice King. She's the daughter of Martin Luther King Jr. and the CEO of the King Center. Also with us, Al Vivian. He's the son of the Reverend C.T. Vivian and the CEO of Basic Diversity. Friends, great to have you both here. I want to start by just getting your thoughts, Bernice, on it's been obviously a very emotional week of the Derek Chauvin trial. You tweeted, watching a human call out for his mother while another human hands nonchalantly in his pockets, presses his knee into the distressed human's neck. It's an evil inhumanity that's traumatic to witness. $20, $20, $20. What are your thoughts as you've watched what's happened this week?
Well, I mean, obviously, it evokes a lot of emotions to replay all of this again, to see it again. You know, we have a long way to go in terms of respecting Black people, Black bodies, Black lives in this country. And it's my hope and prayer through this trial that there will be a conviction to send a loud message that we as Black people are worthy, not just worthy, we should be treated with respect and dignity at the hands of everyone, including law enforcement, because that was very, extremely inhumane in the way that he was handled.
And Al, at the same time, we've also seen, I think, tremendous humanity in terms of the witnesses. I mean, every witness from a teenager, a teenage girl with her cell phone, to an off-duty firefighter, to a store clerk, to a 9-year-old girl. I mean, everyone has talked about how this affected them, how it, devastated them, has made them feel guilty, that they felt helpless. And so what have you taken away from this week, Al?
Basically, what you just said, everything Bernice said and what you just said, to me, it's the whole humanity piece. I'm a true believer that people are genuinely good. There are not a lot of bad people out there. There are some, but the vast majority of American citizens and people in the world are good people. It's just the problem is there's so much that we don't know. We're fed so much that just isn't so, that people end up believing things that are not true. And when we give people facts, the truth, and we show the real realities of what's going on out there, people, they step up to the plate and do the right thing. This case was a case where it was on television, where we saw the entire time frame of this murder, because that's what it was, a blatant murder on screen, and everyone saw it. And so people are responding very emotionally. That's the key thing for me, is the emotion in this. Almost every witness has been very emotional, which shows you again that people are genuinely good. It also shows you that if we start treating people in a humane manner, everything works out well for everybody. Then we can become the society that we claim to be.
So at the same time that this is happening, you both wrote this joint letter about the voting rights law in Georgia, and you were trying to get the attention of business leaders, CEOs. Bernice, what was your message to them?
Well, essentially, we believe that corporate America has a lot of power and influence in our country. In fact, they have the greatest influence in many of our state legislatures and with our state legislators and on Capitol Hill. And we were disappointed that they didn't go far enough with SB 202 here in Georgia. People start touting, how, this really is making voting safer, and really we've provided some access. But the reality is that the little bit of good that came out of this does not supersede the very bad that has come out of this. The bad is very bad. The good is not that great. Because when you talk about putting local elections throughout the state, when you talk about taking away local power and removing power from the people's elected official, the Secretary of State, there's no excuse for that. And corporations can do what is necessary to ensure that these kind of things don't happen. And unfortunately, that did not happen. So we were calling corporations to, step up to the plate. They made these racial equity commitments down here in Georgia, and this was a chance for them to put it to action.
And Al, it sounds like your letter got their attention. Here is the response from the CEO of Delta and Coca-Cola.
When we got a chance to finally see it all put together and had a chance to digest it, as well as listen and hear from the voices of our people about it, we realized that this was restricting.
Let me be crystal clear and unequivocal. This legislation is unacceptable. It is a step backwards.
Al, was that gratifying?
Well, it's gratifying, but it was kind of late. I applaud them now coming forward. And I guess I would say to make up for that, what they and all the other CEOs throughout the country can do is now step up and push for the John Lewis bill to be signed into law, and for the We the People at the federal level law to be signed in. That would supersede and kind of destroy some of the things in these other states, because there are, at last count I saw, 43 different states that are planning very similar actions. And I want to stress that piece about, so as what Bernice was saying about giving them the control to just take away. They can basically, by this law, they can supersede any county in the state. If they didn't like the outcome, they can pretty much override it. I'm a former Army captain, so for me, democracy is immensely important. There's nothing more un-American in a democracy than to take away people's right to vote. That's what makes us a democracy. Killing that is un-American.
Al, Vivian?
One thing to that.
But yeah, go ahead.
So if these ballots are fraudulent, which is what they're saying, that the November election was fraudulent, and et cetera, if those ballots were fraudulent, then why are they still in office in Georgia? Because all 236 members of the Georgia Assembly were elected off of those exact same ballots. And I've yet to hear anybody ask them a question and them answer it.
That is the irony, that they haven't quite been able to square that math that you just pointed out. And I appreciate you pointing that out to everyone. Bernice King, Al, Vivian, thank you very much for your time. We really appreciate you coming in to talk about these important issues.
Thank you for the opportunity.